This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
The next match, well, it's incredible. And this is the real reason I wanted to cover this show with you, besides the Tyson Kidd Cesaro thing. It's Kevin Owens. He's the NXT champion, and he's going to pin the United States champion, John Cena, in 20 minutes and 42 seconds. Neither title is on the line, but this is an unbelievable match. Meltzer gave it 4.5 stars. They get plenty of time, but this is before Kevin Owens is even on the main roster officially. He's the NXT champion. We're just trying something here, but man, putting him with Cena, there's no bigger way to debut in WWE. And even though over the years, fans could be quite critical of John, they would say that, oh, he has 5 moves and it's the 5 moves of doom and it's the same old shit or whatever the knock is. He also had another reputation as quote unquote, Big Match John. And boy, Big Match John was here. This is an outstanding match, but you watched it back this week for the first time in a long time. You had to be proud seeing your boy and Kevin Owens tear it up here.
I'm going to punch a small hole in your balloon.
Okay.
Was it spectacular in the fact that there were some god awful huge moves during this match, which the fans have grown to accustom? I think Kevin Owens is deceptively strong for a guy his size and body structure. I mean, deceptively strong. And I got to see that for the first time in this match. Where I think they went south, and I'm glad it was such an awesome viewing experience ultimately for the fans who spent their hard-earned money to get it, in this match did let them know that they were going to go all out for the fans to give them a 18-car crash. But to have John have Kevin Owens do his own finish to him, kick out of it, but still hit his own move on him, and vice versa, have a pop-up power bomb, which was his finish for the very first time, and have Cena kick out. Now remember, this is the first time we're seeing Kevin Owens.
That's right.
For them to throw away all these bombs and to, well, you know, you get in that pattern and that habit of you hit your finish on me, I'll hit mine on you. Well, if it's your finish, wouldn't you know the counter?
Right.
Wouldn't you have a way of getting out of that? And just the fact that it was an attempt at doing your own finish on you and the other guy counters out of it, that's great storytelling. But ultimately, you know, there was a bump off the top, which was like I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like oh gosh, it's a suplex where you're doing a vertical suplex, it was like a brain buster off the top.
Right.
It stood out as the move of the match. There's no reason that shouldn't have been a finish. There's no reason Kevin shouldn't have been able to pick John up, because he doesn't look like he is that strong. No offense, Kevin. I'm just telling you, the things that you perform are awesome. And for John to kick out of that and to ultimately to put Kevin Owens over is fine. If you're going to listen to the audience throughout this thing, Kevin Owens became a star that night.
Yes.
This is my humble opinion. If you don't listen, no matter what you got booked or written down for the next 3 weeks, if you see that and you see that audience react to that, don't you switch those plans to, hey, here's my new baby face?
You would think so. They didn't do that. They kept the match trilogy going here, or the feud here going with John Cena, but you're exactly right. They don't make Kevin Owens the babyface star that in the old days would have felt like a no-brainer to.
And he can just be not to say anything like Steve Austin's style, but he's the anti-hero. He's that guy that kicks ass. He's the everyday man that doesn't look like he could go out there and pop up powerbomb Mark Henry.
Right.
Hell, I've seen it more than once. He does some spectacular stuff, but the audience was cheering for him in a way that, hey man, we like this dude. Make him a babyface the very next day. Switch gears, because to put on that kind of performance, to beat John Cena 1, 2, 3 with his finish, there's no bigger launching pad at that particular time than there is. So go with it. Switch gears. Turn him into what they want to see. That is where I had that match. I sat in, and as they were going through it, I voiced my opinions as I normally did. Those that got shot down, I respectfully said I just wanted to bring it up. And those were some of my concerns during the match. And even I wasn't prepared for how Kevin was going to be received. So, hey, for the audience, it was an awesome deal. I just look at today's not a standalone show if we're not thinking about next week and the next week and the next week, because without programming and thinking our way through this, there is no story. And without any story, you're just taking bumps. And if you're just taking bumps, you're beating your body up, and nobody gives a crap.
Meltzer had some of the same takes you did. He says, Owen used the pop-up power bomb and Cena kicked out. Given that Cena was losing to that move later, I get the mentality of the spot, but to me, in Owen's first match, I'd be strong on protecting his finisher really for months or longer, with the idea of creating a big moment when a guy kicks out for the first time. So of course we see that Cena kicks out early, but let's fast forward. Cena would hit the springboard stunner for a near fall. This is the era where Cena is borrowing the Stone Cold Stunner, but doing it off the ropes. And then Owens uses a Fisherman Buster off the middle rope for a near fall, as well as a Swanton for a near fall. And then he finally gets the pin after the pop-up power bomb. Meltzer would write, the match finish worked. Very few were expecting Owens to win, and even fewer expected it would be clean in the middle with this move. So they made a superstar in one night, which is hilarious because for years, people in the company have claimed it takes 18 months minimum to do so. The crowd was really hot for the match. Cena rolled out of the ring to leave the stage to Owens, who said that now everybody knows who Kevin Owens is. And he tells Cena he has some veteran advice that it's time for Cena to go because his time is up and my time is now. Cena was praised for how unselfish he was in putting Owens over in the manner where he did with no dispute, and then letting Owens make fun of his catchphrase at the end. 4.5 stars. Meltzer really dug it. He thinks the same thing you do. Now Kevin Owens is a superstar. What'd you think? Is having Kevin Owens do some mic work after the match too far? Or is that fair?
Well, if I change directions, if like I said, if I'm that guy sitting in the big seat that makes all the decisions and I just saw go down what I saw go down, I'm sending word out by the ref, no promo.
Right.
Let it go. We're switching gears. I mean, that was one of those, if Dave, if Meltzer and I agree, this closely, there's got to be a little validity to it between the two of us, I would think.
Sure.
But I mean, I saw what I saw, and I saw a superstar being made, and it was, even though some of the stuff was a little more high impact than I would have said, put it all in one match, maybe you could have done half that amount of stuff and still got the same reaction. Still, a star was born that day, and you got to understand it. You got to listen to the audience, and they will always tell you what they want. And most of the time they're going to be right.
Let's get to the next segment on the show. It's Miz TV with Daniel Bryan. Miz has Summer Rae with him. The backstory here being Summer Rae turned on Damian Mizdow. Now, Miz and Mizdow are broken up. So, she's with Miz. We haven't spent a ton of time talking about Summer Rae. She's no longer with the company. She seemed like a model employee. Why don't you think it worked out with her in WWE long term?
Well, she was, and again, I don't remember her ever questioning anything. Everybody can't do this. You can be a great athlete, or you can be a world-class dancer, or cheerleader or baseball player or football player or anything, or even a gymnast. That doesn't mean you can do what we do. And I think that she had a really bad injury to her back, I believe it was, which was probably worse than anybody knew. And she never really got started and got rolling. They tried a couple of things with her, but I think the injury, when you have something that serious, I think she was out a year or so. It kind of makes you question, is this the right thing for me to do? And I didn't really know her that well because Fit took all the ladies' matches, but I don't remember him or anybody saying, hey, she's a pain in the ass. I guess she did her very best.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.